Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow TikTok enthusiasts, welcome back. Welcome back to another dark dimensional TikTok reaction time. Ho 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 ho. So, excuse me. I'm still a little sick. I still have a cough. It is now colder weather here in NYC, so the cough is going to persist for, I'm assuming, quite a while. We are now, ladies and gentlemen, finally on episode 40 of the Dark Dimension TikTok series. I didn't think we'd get this far, and I'll be honest, I don't know how far we're going to get. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but goddamn do I enjoy doing it. So it's Friday. As per usual, we do our Dark Dimension TikTok reactions on Friday, as much as I can help it at least. And a little bit differently today is I'm doing this at around 9:30 p.m. So, some caveats with that. Number one, I'm a little bit more alert. Now, I might not sound too enthusiastic today, and that's because my job has sucked my soul and thrashed it and then sucked it some more. Excuse me. So I'm not in the best of moods. But the other thing that might happen, and probably will happen, is my lovely, sweet little grandmother, who tries to make this dimension the light dimension, will come and say good tidings to me for the night. And then we might hear that in the video. So that'll be fun. That'll be a nice little blessing in disguise, I say. But yeah, and then the last thing is hopefully we can do this for a little bit longer because we're starting so early. Hopefully we can go a little bit longer than usual today. But we'll see. I can only do these for so long because they drain my already very little reserve of energy. Now, you might ask, as the big 4-0 that we just hit, right? As the big 40, what is this series? What are we doing here? What's going on? What the fuck is this, right? The Dark Dimension TikTok series, if you don't know already, you gotta educate yourself. And, the big question is, why the fuck don't you know? This is the series where I basically show what I believe to be is the truth of the world. The truth that things fucking suck hot dick. Excuse me. Things suck hot dick, and stuff is not right in the world, and there's a lot more bad than there is good. And just simply praying or hoping or wishing isn't really going to make things better. A lot of people believe, right? It's almost like it's fucking fairy tale, where if they believe hard enough and they just, do the right thing, that things will get better. No, things are seriously fucked in our world. They're seriously fucked. It's corrupt. It's bullshit. And I'm here to show that. And because the only thing we can do to take the next steps can only happen if we know the truth. And I'm here to hopefully show that. Now, again, I also have to preface this with a lot of warnings. Number one, we should always take everything with a grain of salt because there's a lot of misinformation nowadays. Now that we live in the technological era, where we're all more connected than ever, but somehow facing an epidemic of loneliness. There's so much misinformation, especially with AI, that I don't know what's fucking real or not. So as I see things, I'm going to say what I think might be bullshit. Everything might be bullshit, but there's some things I believe could probably be not bullshit more so than others. And I'll definitely point them out as usual. But, yeah, take everything with a grain of salt, and that's pretty much it. So, going forward, another thing I want to say is fuck, I forgot it. As always, oh yeah, no, I remembered. So another thing I want to say is while I do this, I always like eating because when I eat on Fridays, I'm like, you know what? While I'm eating this gigantic banquet, let me react to some TikToks, and let me do like a 10-minute long fucking intro on each of these videos. So today I have some Chipotle, a rare buy for me. I usually don't buy fast food anymore because I like to save money, and things are expensive, and I don't get paid enough. But today we have some Chipotle because they were giving me free guac and it expired soon, so I was like, fuck it, let me just get Chipotle with the free guac. So we have that. It's a chicken bowl, by the way. We have some fries, we have a little bread roll, and I have some leftover Taco Bell that's like 3 days old at this point, so this might kill me. And I have some yogurt right here. And the yogurt, oh my god, dude, the yogurt's fucking exploding. What the hell? Oh shit, it actually did explode. Oh, that's not good. Um, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, this shit legit exploded. Okay, you know what? I started the episode. I already did 5 minutes. I'll deal with this later. I'll fucking suck it through the container if I have to. Anyway, it didn't explode on me, so that's good. But anyway, yeah, I like to eat while doing this, and I've done this for so long, and we're really, really behind. So at the time of recording, this is November 3rd. Um, it's November 3rd, and we're still up to September 13th. So I've given up on staying anywhere near close to current times, and unfortunately, when I see stuff on TikTok, I have to send it to myself because it's too fucking good. But at this point, we're going to see it so far in the future, it really doesn't matter. And these things are so far in the past, I've basically forgotten them. So it's going to be a journey for both me and you, the kind viewer. And I'm going to repeat basically 97% of what I say because most of the themes in the Dark Dimension repeat, believe it or not. But I think that's enough for the intro. Like I said, hopefully we could do this long enough to where I won't get tired because it's not deep into the night, and I do have stuff to do after this at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel, where I'm going to play the new Fortnite season, Fortnite OG. Oh my god, I'm so hard for that. But that's not this. This is TikTok. That's Fortnite. That's separate. But yeah, dude, this fucking yogurt really exploded. I'm actually so pissed at this. Maybe I can open it from the top here, honestly. Yeah, I might have to do that actually. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's fucking get started. Let me start eating my fucking food, and let's get depressed. Let's get depressed together. Remember, Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. I stream there.
Infrastructure
Anyway.
of the American
Jesus Christ, that's loud. There we go.
Financial system is complex for a reason.
Yeah.
It is made that way so normal
the rich
people
can keep
can't
doing
understand it. That gives a small amount of people all the power. But this animation...
And you know what's ironic, too? I actually saw a statistic, and again, remember, take, what you hear with a grain of salt always, right? But recently, I heard that 8 people have more wealth than half the fucking world. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you serious? How? Oh my god, dude, this shit is so dystopian, it's so fucked up, it's so, like, evil. I have no clue how I'm gonna eat this fucking yogurt, honestly. Like, I'm doing it from the bottom. Anyway. Let's see the animation here.
Does a fantastic job of breaking it down in a simplistic way so that everyone can understand exactly how the American financial system actually works.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? I feel like whoever made this, if they actually made it well, they're probably gonna get 2 bullets in their fucking head. Because the government does not want the regular people, and granted, the regular people do a great job of this on their own. They're too stupid to where they don't understand, and they don't want to understand. Half of the issue is from us because we've allowed it. Well, maybe not half, but part of the issue is definitely on us because we've allowed it. But the big people, they do what they can to try and make it not known. But even if it is known, a lot of us just either don't do anything or like I said, we just don't give a shit. But anyway, yeah, so let's see what's going on. But yeah, this is definitely true so far.
Check this shit out.
Those who've come to deposit and safely store their earned monies.
Whoa.
Monies. Those who need to borrow said money for purposes unknown. Hey, that's me.
Whoa.
Exhibit C. The bank only has so much money in the vault to lend out to people such as you.
Whoa.
Hey, that's the guy! He took my house! Really screwing my vibe here, pal. Space-time continuum. He can't hear you. Just let me narrate. Now, where was I?
See, this is so stupid. They're trying to make it interesting for the common people. And, it is good. It does need to be that way. But it sucks that, a lot of people just don't understand this shit.
So you see, by the time he got...
That guy looked like Doug Dimmadome, by the way.
...to you, pile, his bank was out of money.
Oh!
But he gave me lots of money and charged me a lot of interest.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's how they get you, the interest.
Way banks make money, by making debt loans. Debt equals money, pile.
Whoa.
Remember that. Debt equals money.
That's
the more loans they make, the more money they make.
No
But if
way.
they don't have any money, then where did my money come from?
You're gonna want to take a step back, pile.
Ah, yes, the Federal Reserve.
No way!
You know what the sad part is? This is where a lot of Americans are just so stupid that oh my god, the yogurt's breaking even more. Holy shit, this isn't good. I don't know how I'm gonna eat this shit. I might need a knife. Fuck. Oh god, I might need to actually cut this shit open. It's falling. Oh, oh! I almost spilled it on myself. Luckily, it only spilled on my hand. Okay, oh my god. I'm not getting up. I'm solving this here. I'm not getting up. I made that commitment already. You know, honestly, I could just drink it from the bottle. Hold on. Anyway, let's keep going with the video. But before we go, let me finish what I was saying. So, essentially, a lot of Americans don't realize this whole system and how it works against them if they let it. And this is where a lot of people, and the sad part is nowadays especially, it's not even a choice anymore. A lot of people have to do this, and this is one of the things I've been saying for a while. How people are, you know, American citizens rather, are being led to a life where just debt is the norm. You're going to be perpetually in debt for the rest of your life, and maybe you might transfer it to your fucking kids too. But yeah, like that's becoming the norm, and that's scary because this is how they stay in control and remain in control. And, you know, other ways on top of it. But as long as you are in debt, they got you by the scrote sack.
Hey! Yes way. And that's nothing.
That's
hey, buddy,
nothing.
need some money?
Ah, yes, a New Yorker, obviously.
They didn't do that!
Oh, they did exactly that, pal. Remember, banks make money by making loans, by selling debt, even to bad credit rates.
Whoa.
They called it free money.
Yeah, that's exactly what my loan guy told me. Free money!
Yes.
Wait a second, Hartman. I just thought of something. If I got this money from the bank,
Where'd
and
the bank
got it
get
from
it?
the Federal Reserve dump trucks,
Go on.
He's
then
figuring it
where
out.
does the Federal Reserve
He's
get
figuring
their
it
money?
out.
Your burglar bikini top?
Because no one is allowed inside the Fed. Not
Except
you,
Jerome
not
Powell.
me, no American citizen, no duly elected member of our Congress, not the Supreme Court.
Not the Supreme Court?
Not even the Supreme Court.
Not the Justice Department, not the CIA, DIA, FBI, ATF, BTE, NBC.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I think this yogurt is spoiled. Maybe that's why the container was exploding. This shit is spoiled, bruh. Okay, I'm gonna go get a different one. I'm gonna throw this one out. There's something fishy about this one. And I already think the Taco Bell is gonna kill me because that's a little old. So I don't want to have my body doing double trouble right now. So I'm gonna be right back really quickly. I promise. I'll be right back. Ooh, na, ooh, na, ooh, na. Alright, I got the same flavor. Hopefully it's better. And it doesn't look like it's gonna explode. And hopefully it's not spoiled, but it probably is. But, we're not editing this out. I don't edit my fucking videos. Anyway, let's keep watching how the system's fucked.
Not even G-O-D.
God? Even he's not allowed?
How come
No
the government
way.
isn't allowed inside its own building?
It's not the government.
The Fed is a private bank owned by private stockholders. Do not let the name federal fool you.
See, that's the thing that actually blew my fucking mind. The government does not make the money. It's a private institution. If something is private, whose interests are they for? Us or theirs? Let's let that sink in.
This place is about as Federal Express.
A private bank? But private?
Dude, it's crazy too, because you think by seeing this as a cartoon, right? You think they're exaggerating, or you think it's like for comedic purposes or something, but it's not. Like, this shit is actually wild because it's fucking true. Alright, let me smell this yogurt. Okay, oh my god, this one actually smells fresh. I think this is one of the newer ones. Holy shit.
Best to keep your voice down, pal.
This is Ethan, Federal Reserve.
Hey,
Whoa.
Eth, Bill here, First National.
Hi there, Bill.
So essentially, this is Jerome Powell. If we want to relate it to, like, actual times.
How are you?
Good, good. We're running a little low on money.
No problem. How much you need?
Oh, how does 20 million sound? What?
Excellent. We'll ship it over first thing tomorrow.
Wait.
Also, you know what doesn't make sense about this? So, the fucking guy, like, I guess, like, the fucking guy with the black hair on the right here, not the main character, the teacher. Before he said like they're ghosts or whatever, so they can't hear them. But now he's slapping him as if the guy might hear them. Like this doesn't make any sense.
He can just call up the Fed and ask for more money and they give him whatever they want?
Yes.
No, pal. The Fed don't give the banks money. The Fed loans the banks
money. Oh, it's a perpetual loan.
The banks have to pay it back with interest. Now, come on, time to go. Wait.
And remember, how did they get the interest?
Where does the
From
Fed
us.
get their money? I mean, if they're a private bank. You said they're a private bank, right? Okay, so who puts money into the Fed bank?
Oh.
This is Mel, United States Mint.
Hi, ML. First National needs another 20 millis.
We're already running the presses full steam here, Ethan.
Gotta
Which
keep making
causes
loans, gotta keep the
inflation.
money flowing.
All right, you're the Fed. Whatever you guys say. 20 million more by morning.
Oh my
But
God.
I don't get it. What's so wrong about the Fed printing money? Because it's unconstitutional, pal. Our Treasury
And it's not backed by anything.
is supposed to create our money, but now the Fed controls the printing of America's money. Nobody gets a friggin' dollar that the Fed didn't print. So, they print the money, then they loan it to the government, then they charge the government interest, then the government taxes you to pay for it. Wake up, pal!
Yeah, and instead of us paying for it, it goes into everyone else's pockets and to all the countries around the world that are fighting a war that we have a stake in.
God, I don't see what the big deal is. You know, you're right, pal. Wait a minute. Wait, I am? Yeah.
Excuse me.
I forget how effective they are at keeping you ignorant.
Exactly. And that last sentence right there is the most accurate. It's so sad, man. It's so sad. But very true. Anyway, great video. Obviously, it was a little shortened. I'm pretty sure there's more, but we're not going to see more because we are on a tight schedule. Let us keep going. Oh, okay. So, this one is more of a... excuse me. It's not really an informative video per se. You know, I like to mix in some other videos that are not necessarily informative just to kind of illustrate some points. This is how I feel. Sometimes I would say this is how I feel. But this is, I think, the sad reality of a lot of people. I feel like social media and, you know, technology in general... Alright, let me fucking pause this shit. Here, this is a nice little happy image, kind of. So, this is where technology and stuff and all the innovations and, you know, the great time we're living in is causing its own issues. Now, granted, we're better in a lot of ways than the past, right? Than when people were throwing fucking tomahawks at fucking wildebeests and stuff, right? And we were scared of getting murked by, like, boars or something. But, you know, this comes with its own issues living in this time. And this is where now we've become, in a way, indoctrinated to social media stuff. Now, not everyone, and social media definitely has its positives. As you could see, I'm making the series off of it, which is doing extremely well, obviously. But, yeah, no, a lot of people end up going into this rut that's life, and life has become so monotonized and so, I don't want to say corporatified, but I feel like corporate has basically, and big businesses and stuff, have basically made it this way to where life has just become mundane, and that really ends up killing people slowly, and it's very scary. Now, another thing I wanted to say on this was this reminded me of, as a kid, they even started teasing this to us. For those of you who watch SpongeBob, there was an episode where a guy, you know, just went to work, was stuck in traffic, did work at the office, came home, washed the dishes. His wife, you know, asked him like, "Oh, how was work? Whatever. It was good. Oh, are you coming to bed? Coming, dear." And it was just every day, same in, same out. Every day was the same. And we all laughed. We all laughed as kids, but now we ain't laughing no more. But yeah, this really reminds me of common life now, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad. And you can see in the comments, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people feel like this. So yeah, and it's increasing too. The sad part is this is increasing, not decreasing. Because only when you become rich or financially independent are you not subjected to this, or at least it's a choice at that point whether you're subjected to this or not. But anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. I thought this was pretty neat. I think it's pretty relevant, and it's what a lot of people are going through more and more. So let's go next. Oh. This guy's singing like a yoga pose. Why is this so low? Oh! Oh, wait. Who was that? Hold up. Hold on. Alright, so Edward Bernays, believe it or not, and I've mentioned this before, I took media in college. I took the greatest degree ever, the greatest track ever, media. And I learned well about fucking Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays, he was actually related to Sigmund Freud, I believe. I believe Sigmund was his uncle or something. And basically, Edward Bernays, again, is the father of modern media. Well, not modern media, of the modern advertisement. Because he basically found the ways to manipulate the public. And again, I always say this, right? I'm repeating myself again and again. This is where this was like almost 100 years ago. A little, yeah, actually, right about 100 years ago. To where like now they've improved upon it so much. Edward Bernays, he did it obviously to help businesses and stuff and help the government, but goddamn how it turned evil. How it's turned evil in this dark fucking dimension, man. But yeah, I know this guy well, dude. Edward Bernays, Eddie B.
As the father of propaganda, launched the breakfast campaign because the meat industry came to him and said, "Dude, we're slacking on meat sales.
Yeah, we need more money.
What can we do?" So he's like,
Let's
"It's too
brainwash
hard to
people."
convince the average person. I need to go to the people that are already sources of authority." So what did he go and do? He went and convinced the doctors.
And look what happens nowadays. I don't know why this video is so low. You know, I guess this is a reaction. Like this guy's just reacting to it. This guy's like an old fucking dude too. But I wonder if he's gonna fucking say anything. I mean, this is the common reaction video nowadays. But and it's sad because he really is saying nothing. But this is where, what did they do in the common time? They get media influencers to do this shit. You go to an influencer, you have them promote your product, you know, hashtag sponsored, whatever. And for a long time that wasn't needed, believe it or not. And yeah, people just eat that shit up. If Kim K advertises something, that shit's getting sold out.
Pediatricians, that breakfast was the most essential diet with all these
The most
studies,
important meal
all
of the
these
day,
experiments,
doing it up
all this
Gary's
bullshit
way.
was all paid propaganda. So Edward Bernays launches the breakfast propaganda campaign and turns breakfast into a rousing success. He did it as well with
Wow.
cigarettes.
Absolutely, industry and propaganda are closely linked.
Yup. Yo, this is exactly what I said in my media. And it's sad too, because media is so shitty, right? I'm not here trying to defend my media degree or anything. Because God, was it awful? Like, it's useless. But it did open my eyes to the dark dimension. I feel like Doctor Strange and media was like the fucking old lady, like the old bald lady, the fucking the sorcerer supreme before Doctor Strange, and she opened my eye.
Bernays was Freud's nephew and took all the psychological technology of Sigmund Freud
And made it evil.
and boiled it into public relations, PR, advertising,
Yeah.
marketing, psychological marketing. And so the same can be said about grain-based diets.
Yeah, the same could be said with almost anything. Anyone who wants to sell anything pretty much gives up lies and has someone in authority peddle it. And this is where they've done it for dentistry, where it's like, oh, 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this. Does anyone vet that? No. And they could ask 9 out of 10 dentists, hey, do you think toothpaste helps? And they'll say yes and be like, okay, look, our toothpaste helps. Well, yeah, no fucking duh. Toothpaste is good overall. But they don't tell you the bad stuff that are in it. They just ask them regular questions like, should people use toothpaste? Yes. And then they roll with it. And I wonder who's the one doctor who doesn't say yes. I wonder what that guy's doing. But this is where they do it for everything. And one of the biggest examples of it is the diamond ring. The De Beers mining company basically invented the concept of giving a ring for marriage. Before the 1900s, there was no notion of, if you get married, you have to give an engagement ring, you have to give a diamond ring. Diamonds were fucking like nothing. No one cared about them. And then De Beers was like, okay, we got to make them valuable. And what did they do? They did media PR campaigns. And it works. It works. And it can be used on anything.
And heart-healthy diets that walked us away from saturated fat, increased our grain intake,
Oh, yeah.
wheat, barley, oats, which
I take
aren't
all that.
really digestible and really
Which should be good. Because they have, at that point, they probably have fiber.
good for the body.
Oh,
long
never
term
mind.
As a primary source of your diet.
Oh, well, yeah, no, duh. If you can't digest it and it's your primary source, then of course. But this is where greens, wheat, and stuff are good. Because they're fiber. And your body can't digest fiber, which is good. Fiber helps the gut biome. It helps the micro gut biome.
And if you look at the history of the food pyramid, grains and breakfast cereals and all these types of things were designed to sell to the consumer.
Yeah, and this is where cereals have basically become candy.
to sell their products. So there is a lot of nefarious activity.
Yep, and that's the sad part of what media has become and what it's used for. It's used for a lot of underhanded, nefarious purposes. It's basically used, in my opinion, to kind of manipulate or deceive, I would say.
Intertwined with business and food.
Because that's the main way you make money. You fool people.
Food and the poisoning of our food. And so, buyer, be very aware. And breakfast is breaking the fast. And so I like to eat light throughout the day.
I don't even eat breakfast.
My blood sugar handles that, so I have my cognitive function. Buyer beware from the bamboozlement of the propaganda machine.
Yup. And see, the sad part is, and I've said this so many times, this guy sounds like a little conspiracy theorist. It's like, oh, the propaganda machines, da da da. Nah, this shit is true. Trust me. I researched it. I'm a little bit of an expert in this topic. I have a degree on it. I have a bachelor's. So this is definitely true. But yeah, yo, kudos to this guy. This guy's an old, kind of jacked guy, good looking, great mind, and a very kind heart to let us know this information. Let us know more about what's dark in the dark dimension. I want to start saying that in the intro. I want to say like, oh, I'm here to show you what's dark in the dark dimension. But anyway, great video. Let's go next. Oh, what is this? Oh, I think the sound is muted, or maybe there's no sound. So I remembered what this is. I saw this and I found this so hilarious. And, it's basically here just to show you what NYC really is. This dude is about to get robbed for a cake. Think about that. He comes right out the store. I don't know where this is. There's like a deli. It's probably in Harlem, let's be real. And he's coming right out the store. And then he gets fucking robbed for a cake. And the caption is NYC is not a real place. And you know what's sad? As bad as NYC is, right? There's a lot of times that are that are such an outlier where the people of NYC will actually help you, where you would think they would spit on you and steal the clothes off your back. They might do that too, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of other times where they will actually help you and you'll be shocked by it. As much as we like to look after our own, we also like to fucking pillage our own, I guess. Look at this. He comes right out. The guy pushes him up. He's like, yo, I'm mugging you. This person saw it, came out the store, just walked away. Look, this guy was like, look at this. This is so funny. So look, he takes out his fucking wallet. He's like, oh, here, have my wallet or his phone or whatever. He throws that shit there. He's like, nah, I don't want that. I want the cake. And this guy's confused. He'd rather give up his wallet than the fucking cake. He's like, nah, this is my cake. And you know what? I would do the same shit. And look, the guy just snaps his cake and now his balloons are gone too. He's like, yo, what the fuck? And this guy's just watching. He's like, yo, my fucking cake. But at least they got his, at least they got his face. But yeah, look at this. Oh, and look where it was. East Harlem. How did I know? Well, first of all, I recognize the area. I used to work here, believe it or not. But dude, this is fucking hilarious. He didn't want the wallet. He wanted the fucking cake, bro. This is why New York is so crazy. Like, there's other places that have crime, right? But it's really not like New York. New York is its own fucking animal. The city's disgusting. We don't clean it. We don't update it. We steal from the fucking people to not replace or fix anything. And somehow people still keep coming here because that's where all the fucking businesses are to, deceive people into buying souvenirs and knickknacks and stuff. Literally, where I work in Midtown Manhattan, it's filled with all these stores that are just for tourists. And it's stupid. It's so dumb. But yeah, if you go a little bit away from there, this is what's going to happen to you. They're going to steal your cake. They don't want your wallet. They want your cake. But yeah, this just goes to show you NYC is so shitty. There's a lot of, lessons I want to teach with this series. The first and foremost being that we do, in fact, live in the dark dimension. And, what can we do, right? But another thing I want to teach is that New York fucking blows dick. And that's what I hope people are getting from this. But that's fucking hilarious. Let's go next.
I thought, finally, we are going to address the biggest scandal in.
So, a little bit about AOC, and I say this kind of every time, but my opinion always differs slightly. I kind of like AOC. I'm not going to lie. The first thing I heard about her was she's young, which is already a plus for our government. And number two, that she played League of Legends. And I play League of Legends. And, you know, she's young enough to where she's a gamer. And that's cool. Now, I have heard some bad things about her. She's not, you know, completely good. And I think all politicians, to a certain extent, are probably corrupt. I think there's a few of them, like Jeff Jackson from North Carolina, who, you know, in the future, I don't think we're going to get to it today, but in the future is going to be a big point. We're going to have some big news with him that I do remember, but I don't think that's this episode. But yeah, oh my God, I love Jeff Jackson. But I think there's some senators like Jeff Jackson that are not corrupt, or at the very least, very little, maybe. I mean, there's no way to really know for sure. But I think the younger you are, generally speaking, the more or the less corrupt you probably are. But who knows? But yeah, I think most of the people in our government, if they have a seat of power, they're most likely corrupt. Now for AOC, I think she's probably a little corrupt. I think she puts up a little bit of a facade, a little bit of like sheep's clothing, where, you know, she's like, for us, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she probably does try and help us, but, you know, number one, what can she really do? What can any one person do alone? And number two, how much is she doing it just for looks? Because I have heard in the past, she's gotten, you know, angered. She has like not too thick skin when people make fun of her. And if you're in a public viewing setting at all, as I am, as a popular streamer, you know, you're just gonna have to deal with this shit. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's just how the cookie crumbles. That's society. And she's kind of been a little bit on the side that she can't handle it too well. But regardless, that has nothing to do with what she's saying and what she does. I think she's not that corrupt. I have no way to know. I know a lot of people sometimes hate her. And I do think to a certain extent she probably is a little corrupt. But at the very least, she is bringing up the topic. Now, again, maybe she's just filling the role of the person who's going to bring it up to make it seem like they're throwing us a bone. Who knows? But at the very least, she's doing something that might convince some people that the government is more corrupt if they don't see my series, which they should.
An American democracy that we are currently having right now, which is the extraordinary corruption and wholesale purchase of members of the Supreme Court. I also find it amusing that we just heard from the Republican side, why do we want to talk about this?
Yeah,
because women have lost the right to choose.
Why? And that's actually true. And that's insane to think about, that women cannot choose. Like, it's not federally protected anymore, even though it was for a while, that women can choose whether or not to, like, have an abortion. And that's a tricky topic I don't want to go into too much, but it's just crazy how freedom is being taken away. And you can argue freedom is being taken away from the fetus, from the child. But again, that's a slippery slope argument, and it's very in-depth, and I just can't go into it now. But at the very least, a woman's rights have been lessened and taken away from that. Now, you know, why would people care that the Supreme Court, you know, the only thing the Supreme Court can't affect is the money from the Federal Reserve. So I think we should be talking about that more than anything. But the next stuff up is definitely the Supreme Court. And we've covered it a lot already, where it's like, how the fuck can the place that decides if our laws are actually laws, right? How can that be corruptible publicly and no repercussions happen? Like, bro, the fact that the stupid freaking judge is still there, Clarence Thomas is still fucking there, is baffling, it's disgusting, it's an embarrassment, and it needs to be rectified and then some. It should have been handled day one, and it wasn't, and it's stupid because everything's so fucking corrupt, and it's obvious, and it sucks.
Because indigenous people have lost rights, because minorities have lost rights, because working people across the country have lost rights due to this level of corruption. We're losing our wages, too. According to ProPublica's reporting, Justice Alito was flown on a private jet on this luxury trip, and if he had chartered a similar jet, it would have cost more than $100,000.
Which is nothing to billionaires.
Each way.
Oh,
100
so 200.
grand. Now, Professor Clark,
bro, at that point, just take the fucking plane.
Clark, with the cost of about $100,000 per flight, would Justice Scalia be required to disclose this trip?
Yes.
I believe you're referring to Justice Alito.
Alito, yes.
And yes, under the Ethics in Government Act, disclosure would be required.
And did he?
My understanding is that he did not.
So he violated it.
He did not. The billionaire who
just like they're violating us,
generously sponsored this trip, Paul Singer, did business before the court at least 10 times.
Wow.
In cases where the legal press and mainstream media often covered his role. So it was publicly known that he had business before the court. And in 2014, in fact, Justice Samuel Alito, along with the court, agreed to resolve a vital issue in a decades-long battle between Singer's hedge fund and the nation of Argentina. Do you know if Alito recused himself from this case?
No, he didn't.
He did not recuse himself from this case. And in fact, he used his seat on the Supreme Court after all of this to rule in Singer's favor. And following the decision, Mr. Singer's hedge fund was ultimately paid $2.4 billion because of this ruling. Not a bad return on investment for a fishing
$200,000 flight
trip there.
Insane. Like, this can't be real. It can't be. Like, we're in the dark dimension. It's so ridiculous. And I've said this before, and I'll repeat it because I'm going to repeat everything. This is where maybe he actually did be impartial. Maybe the Supreme Court Justice Alito was impartial and he just happened to agree with Singer. But the fact that it has to be called into question is wrong. The fact that we doubt you is wrong because you're doing this stuff that makes us doubt you. You're untrustworthy. And, you know, if this is the top of the court, the highest court in our country, where we can't trust them, that's a fucking issue. And it's known and nothing happened. And, you know, just the fact that we have to question, like, okay, why, you know, did you vote biasedly because of all the stuff he does for you? And knowing America, probably yes. And it's like, okay, well, now this guy won an extra $2.4 billion. Which, you know, why does he need that much? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's disgusting. It's crazy. And AOC is exposing this, which, you know, I'm pretty sure it was already public knowledge anyway. But she's exposing it because she's also a very popular voice. So she's exposing it more. But is anything changing? Is she pushing for anything? Number one, can she and should she, right? Can she? I don't know. I don't actually know her role. I know she actually represents me, though, believe it or not. She actually represents me. If I have a problem, if I want to message my representative, I message her. Excuse me, which is wild to think of. But number two, you know, should she? If she tries to rock the boat, if she's not already in the boat, right? If she's not in with the rich, if she tries to rock it, what's going to happen to her? She's either going to be stomped out or killed. Who knows? If you can't beat them, you join them. And that's the sad reality of the world. Very few times does that happen. Or does that not happen? So, you know, a lot of things are fucked. You know, I don't know if it's because of my mood, but I feel like this episode is going to be a pretty depressing episode. I'm just going to be like all like a negative little Nancy. Anyway, let's keep going.
We need to see unemployment rise.
I remember this fucker. This guy needs to get smacked. So this is not the only guy who says this. So obviously he's going to be, I think, a millionaire. He's a multimillionaire, actually. He's Australian, as I'm reading here. But this is not only what he says, but this is what the Federal Reserve says. And this is where they don't realize that, you know, this is a way to solve the problem. But I'll give you an example of the logic I think they're using here. Okay, guys, oh, we have an overpopulation problem. Oh, there's not enough food to go around. Okay, what do? Do we educate people on reproduction? Do we educate people on economics? Do we educate people on farming and agriculture so we can make more food to support the growing population? If I were these people, instead, what I would say is, okay, how about we just kill a certain amount of people to where now it's okay? This is where what they're saying, you know, raise unemployment, make it so people can't have jobs, can't afford stuff, can't pay. So they're basically saying, make people unafford anything, make them live in poverty, and then, you know, poverty, it leads to mental health problems, it leads to, you know, disease, health complications, and, you know, insurance is what it is already. So it's like, that's obviously going to lead to death. And this is where there's a statistic in the United States, and obviously this guy's an Australian, right? I don't know if he's talking about the US or not, or Australia. But in the US, right, they often say this statistic of, oh, no one in the US has ever died from hunger. Well, no fucking duh. They're going to die from all the complications of starving, which isn't going to be direct, you know, it's not directly hunger that's killing them, but it's definitely fucking helping. If you're not getting a good diet, you're more susceptible and prone to disease and all this other shit. It's like, well, no fucking duh, you're not going to die from hunger. You could eat trash, but the trash is going to kill you. You didn't die hungry, you died from disease, you fucks. Like, it's so fucking stupid. But let's listen to this guy. This guy is such an asswipe. This is where it's a perfect example of the rich being just so disconnected from, like, human life. It's so stupid.
Has to jump 40, 50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer.
Yeah, we need to remind the employees that you are our bitches. You are the slave, the employer is the master. Because it's not like they already pay most people non-livable wages for freaking work that doesn't need to be the way it is. You know, we need to remind them even more so that their life sucks and they should listen to us and make us better. Like, are you fucking... Yo, this guy... Oh my God, I hate this dude.
Not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, imagine that. Oh yeah, thank you for the job where you piss pennies on me while you make thousands. Thank you. Like, are you serious? I guarantee you, if you switch the positions, if you force that, and not just this guy, any rich person that's a fucking asshole, right? If you switch the positions and you force them, you tell them, okay, you can only do this for this amount of pay. You have to work at McDonald's for minimum wage for a whole year and survive. Main goal, survive. These people are going to learn very fucking quickly how unfair it is. And the only reason they don't know this shit is because they'll never do that shit. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Oh, cainista. It's the same nonsense. Like, and there was the good night I said to my girl. But anyway, this guy, as well as the other rich people, they don't understand how it is because they're so disconnected from it. It's ridiculous. Or maybe they're just crazy. Maybe they're just crazy because that's what money does to you. It either makes you crazy or show the crazy that's already there.
The problem that we've had is that we have people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore.
Oh, and no fucking duh. How much does this guy work, I wonder, right? How much actual work does this guy do? Not enough to generate the profit he owns, I'll tell you that. And, you know, this is where I guess maybe the TikToks are kind of convincing me of stuff. But, you know, this shit is true. I think it's definitely true. And this is where, you know, let's just keep going. I'm going to go on forever.
Through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity.
Okay, I gotta say it. So at this point in time, right, we've gotten more productive, and I've said this before as well. We've gotten more productive, but we are earning less. So we are producing more, but earning less. Why is this the case? Why is it the case? Because it's being hoarded somewhere at the top.
You know, tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. You know, they have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years.
Oh, wow.
And we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view.
Disgusting.
We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around.
You're spending $40 a day. Oh, fuck, I liked it. I didn't mean to like it. You're spending $40 a day on smashed avocado toast and coffees and not working. Of course not. Absolutely.
There's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them.
Okay, I don't know why it's repeating it, but yeah, those are my basic points. It's like technology is supposed to get better, not to make the rich richer, but to make us all save more time, make our lives easier, right? Make it so we don't have to work. No one wants to work, right? Obviously, if you're doing something you love, you want to do it more, but I wouldn't even consider that working at that point. You're doing what you like. This is where we have all this technological advancement. Tools are coming out, more efficient tools are coming out. The computer, printing, fucking office shit, right? AI is the next big thing. You think if AI comes out and takes, you know, all the menial work and stuff that people have to do and does it in 1 second when it takes a person 1 hour, you think that's going to make the workday go down? No, because there's a system that's in place and it benefits certain people and they want it to keep going. And it's stupid. Anyway, disgusting man. This guy needs to be taught a lesson. He needs to be forced, like, take all his wealth away. Or leave him with like 1,000 to like start, right? Leave him with 1,000, make him work in McDonald's for a whole year, and then let's see how he fucking feels. Yeah, raise unemployment, my fucking dickhole, yo. Anyway, let's go next.
So this nice Mormon family, they have 6 kids, they decide to become family vloggers. So they
Oh,
film all these wholesome
lovely.
vlogs with the whole family, and they get really popular on YouTube.
Damn,
But then,
wow.
people started to notice they had a really harsh parenting style. Like sometimes the mom would withhold food as punishment.
I'm only going to say it one more time, and then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
She also...
Just think about that. You're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner. And you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the job paying you low wages. It all goes back to the job. You know what? Let me that might be the title. That might be the title of this one. It all goes back to the job. Bada bing, bada boom.
He also took away her son's bed as punishment.
Oh
Bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
And then one night, their neighbors get a knock at the door, and they answer it, and it's one of the kids from the vlogger family. And he's 12, and he had duct tape on his hands and feet where he had been tied up. He also had open wounds, and he was severely malnourished.
Was he getting fucking tortured?
The boy had been tied up by his own mother, the family vlogger, and her...
She looks evil. She looks like a villain.
...business partner. And he was able to escape by climbing out a window and running to the neighbor's house where he asked for food and water. So the neighbor...
He didn't even ask for help. He just wanted some food and water. That's the sad part of these kids are indoctrinated. And that's also where the government comes in, and that's where they start getting us. Because when you're young, you're moldable.
Immediately...
Thank God. You know, the internet, like I said, does come with its bad things. It comes with a lot of misinformation. A lot of bad actors are on here. A lot of people that want sexual stuff, want your money, don't give a shit about you. Now, granted, whether that's because of the system in place, whether they're just trying to survive or fulfill their sick fantasies, who the fuck really knows? But there's a lot of them out there like that. And, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff on the internet, but the internet, if nothing else, unless it's going to get massively regulated like they do in China or North Korea, the internet, even with all the misinformation, is a great thing in terms of spreading around ideas and hopefully truth. So there's good and there's bad.
He called the police.
A 12-year-old male showed up with tape around his legs Thursday asking for help, said he was afraid asking for police.
So the police show up, and they find 2 other kids in the home the boy escaped from. They were his sisters. The youngest sister was 10, and she was also severely malnourished. So the police throw the mom and the business partner in jail. Like, straight to jail.
You should beat them too.
They got no bail, and they charged him with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. And fun fact, the business partner here is also a licensed therapist.
Amazing. Amazing. How do these people get these jobs? I don't know. And then I'm out here struggling, and I feel like I'm a you know, I wouldn't say a good guy, but I'm a neutral guy. I'm a hopefully decent guy.
So that's nice. But here's what's crazier. The 2 arrested women are business partners, right?
What are they, lesbian?
Want to know what their business is?
What, child trafficking?
And I'm not making this up. They run an organization where they give people parenting advice.
Are you serious?
So this story blows up, and it's everywhere, and YouTube immediately permabans any YouTube channel having to do with the family.
Wait, what? Wait, they can't even talk about it? Wait a minute, that's not good. They need to spread the word. Is YouTube with the rich? Are they trying to censor us now?
They even made an official statement, which is crazy. But then the family's oldest daughter, remember they had 6 kids, and she's...
My God, they went to town.
20 years old. And she allegedly cut off contact with her parents last year. So she posts on her Instagram...
Damn, why isn't she helping all the other siblings? Why isn't she exposing them to the police or something?
A photo of a police car outside a house with the caption... Finally. And she writes another post about how they've been trying to tell police and CPS about this behavior for years.
Oh, damn.
Now the internet...
So she's actually a good person. Which, honestly, just to set the record straight, I wouldn't blame her if she didn't do this because she's young, and again, she was probably indoctrinated, maybe she's scared or whatever. But no, she was trying for years to do this, so, you know, kudos to her, especially at that young age. Like, 20 and below, I still consider you a kid. Especially at 18. At 18, you're considered an adult, at least legally. But I do not consider you an adult. You're still a fucking kid. So kudos to that girl.
That has a Google Doc going to archive all of the questionable parenting moments from the family vlogs.
Let's
so the
go.
oldest daughter can use it as evidence against her mom. Holy shit. That story is a lot. Okay, really quick, let me just say that the boy who climbed out the window, that boy is a hero. I mean, straight up, get him a cape and a movie contract, because he...
Bruh, and all he wanted was just some food and water.
He is the real deal. Second of all, can we ban family vlog channels?
Yeah, those things are evil. They use their kids like this is where, again, they look all nice and dandy on the front, but behind the scenes, most of them are really manipulative and really, like, setting up the child and, like, very strict on them, because it's not just natural stuff they're doing. It's very rare that that's actually the case. It's all scripted, it's all pre-planned, and they're very forceful with it. And by that, I mean the parents.
Already. Like, I know probably not all of them are bad, but, like, maybe there should be some kind of laws in place when it comes to people using YouTube to monetize their own kids.
Well, no, because as long as the advertisements can make money off of it, YouTube don't care. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty interesting. I showed this, I believe, just to show off that there's a lot of evil, fucked up people in the world, and we only see a fraction of them because we only can catch a fraction of them. But there's a lot more than meets the eye. Very nice video. I love Harry William Johnson. This is where I fully believe him to be truthful, and if he's not truthful, I don't think he's doing it intentionally. I think it would be a mistake by him. I think it would be unintentional. But I love Harry William Johnson. I really do. Let's go next. He's an OG too. Oh my god.
So people are asking.
Oh, it's Adam Conover. Oh shit. So this is probably following the writers' strike and the guild, the film guild whatever strike as well. That has concluded, I believe, pretty much at this point in current times. But who knows when we're gonna see the conclusion? I'm not gonna spoil it. However, just know they have reached the conclusion. So Adam is not walking the fucking streets anymore, thankfully. Or at least I think he's not.
Why is the writer and actor strike going on for so long?
Why are we getting our movies? Where's our movies? And it's so funny because I have a cousin who works kind of alongside the movie industry. And she tells me, like, oh yeah, right now nothing is happening. Nothing is getting filmed because of this whole thing. And she's chilling. She's literally just chilling, relaxing, barely doing work, getting good money. And I'm like, yo, good for you. But it's obviously going to get busy again because, things have to resume eventually. But for now, she's just chilling. And yeah, nothing's coming out. And this is where I feel like there's a disconnect, right? A lot of people are supporters of something until it really affects them, and then they turn code. And, it really is the case for a lot of people. Like, yeah, we support you. Oh, but then you don't get your movie. Okay, all right, we supported you enough. Now, can you come to a deal already? Now, granted, I don't think that's going to be the case, but let's just hear Adam out.
These companies just come back to the table and make a deal already? Well, the answer is that they're too busy fighting amongst themselves.
Wow.
These companies are in total disarray. See, all the streamers and
rich
studios
can't agree.
negotiate as part of one organization called the AMPTP, but these companies are competitors and they do not get along. We have literally talked to multiple CEOs from multiple companies who have told us they have no problem with any of the writers' demands and they can afford all of them. But there's a couple hardline companies
they can all afford all of them. Let's just get that straight.
Who refuse to make a deal and are holding everyone else out on strike, and they are destroying the business. Warner Brothers literally told the federal government that they are losing $400 million because of the strikes.
Wow.
But guess what? It would only cost them $45 million to accept our demands and end the strike. They are literally allowing their competitors to destroy their businesses. It is insane. But writers and actors, we don't have that problem. We are united. We are going to stay on this picket line until every writer and every actor is taken care of.
See, and this is the crazy thing, and obviously he has to say this, but in reality, if the big businesses wanted to, they can hold out way longer than the writers can, because at the end of the day, we don't have the arguing power like they do. They can outlast us, but thankfully they're so fucking greedy and stupid that even the thought of... So let's just imagine this, right? Okay, I'm Warner Bros. I have, I'm going to use my favorite number here. I have 10 billion. Right? I'm expecting to give the shareholders of my stock and everything some nice dividends, show great growth on the graph so people keep buying the stock. And, I already have 10 billion. That's there. That's in my bank, right? I have 10 billion in the bank. That's good. The following year, excuse me, I'm expecting to make this much. Oh, I'm not making it now because of the writers striking. Oh no, I'm losing money. No, you're not losing money. It's just you're not making as much as you thought.
So if these companies want to end the strike, those that want to make a deal need to take control of the process or break away from the AMPTP and negotiate directly. And until that happens, until they come to the table and make a fair deal, there will be no acting and
Let's
no writing.
Go. Dude, Adam Conover really became the face of this thing for me. I don't know if he's the face of it in general, but he's been so active, and good for fucking him, because this guy is a creator, right? He's on shows, he's on TV and stuff, as far as I know. He made some nice series, and he's a smart dude. And to see that, he's probably rich. He is probably well off. I don't think he needs to do all this. I think he's in a very privileged position. But even he is like, you know what? No, I'm standing up. This isn't right. And I could be wrong about his privileged position, but this is where I think kudos to fucking him for doing this shit. Like, it's important. I'm surprised he was doing, because he's a good, he's a well-known face. He probably has the money. He probably does. So he doesn't need to be doing it, but he's doing it anyway. And that's really good. That's really good. But anyway, yeah. This is just to remind people that unions are extremely good. Don't listen to your fucking employer. They don't want your best interest. They want their best interests. Now, it's sad because the employer should make their best interest your best interest, because a lot of the time that aligns, right? If you're getting your interests met, then the employer's going to get their interests met. But for some reason, there's a schism there, and the employer's like, okay, we don't want to give you what you want, but give us what we want. How am I going to produce the best work? And not me, like, the worker, right? How is the worker going to produce the best work, or like what they're doing, or stay and do it better, if you're giving them shit and you're doing nothing for them? Except the bare minimum. It doesn't make any sense. And that's the point at where we're at in society today. A lot of workers are getting paid shit. They're not getting much in terms of benefits, no retirement, what is even that anymore, right? Shitty ass insurance, which is a whole other ordeal. And they basically can't live life, and they're expected to go above and beyond, service with a smile, and do all this crap. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, yeah, Adam Conover, love him. Let's go next. Great video.
Landlords decided to throw a party to celebrate the fact that they can start evicting people again. Yay! And surprise, that turned into people showing up to protest and beat the shit out of the landlords.
Let's go! I don't advocate for violence, but let's go!
The Berkeley Property Owners Association in California, a trade group for rental property owners, apparently believes regaining the right to throw people out of their homes is cause for celebration with an East Bay cocktail.
Well, of course it is. Because you can make money.
The mixer was held at an ironically named place called Free House Tap Room next to UC Berkeley campus. The tickets cost $20 per person. About an hour passed before protesters entered the bar, at which point multiple fights broke out. According to one witness, a male BPOA member who attended the event slapped a female protester in the face and pushed her. Videos of the
and look what happened, right? Look what happened. I don't know if that was the beginning. I'm just going to assume it is. The rich is bullying the poor.
Event show other violent altercations, including a protester knocking a party attendee's eyeglasses off and throwing haymakers. The eviction moratorium ended September 1st, and it was in place around 3 years. It put in place mandatory workout programs for landlords and tenants, along with assistance programs. Controversy around housing issues is nothing new for the Bay Area. The high cost of housing has been a long-time problem in the region.
This is where they only want to rent to the rich, not to the actual people who need it, because the rich are going to give them more money than it's worth. Excuse me. Like, it makes sense logically. It makes sense why they're doing it. It's just evil. And, of course it's allowed by law.
Especially for UC Berkeley students.
So, this is where, I don't want to be completely against the one side, so I do want to play devil's advocate. This is where it goes into the question of, should renting be something that's necessary? Should renting be something that even exists, right? Should you have to pay to live somewhere? Do you have to pay to live, essentially, is the question. And the answer is yes, you do. At least with the way things are currently set up. And tackling that is a way higher level conversation we're not going to get to. Let's focus just on the renting thing. So renting needs to be there as the system currently is. I think it shouldn't be. I think you shouldn't have to, pay to exist and live. But if that wasn't the case, maybe some people wouldn't work, or at least that's the argument that's portrayed, or at least passed around. So this is where, right, on the apartment, on the landowner side. So, all right, let's just say I'm a landowner, right, or an apartment owner, property owner, better word. Let's say I'm a property owner and I put a tenant in, and this is my main source of income. Now, a lot of people might have an issue with that, like, oh, you're not really working. Well, no, you are providing something that's yours to someone else, and they're benefiting off of it. You're providing not necessarily a service, but a necessity. And again, the argument of should necessities cost you something is a different argument. For here, it does. So I'm providing you with something that I don't have to, I'm choosing to do this, right? Because it's not mandated. We have to rent our spaces to someone, unless it's an apartment building. But even then, you don't have to do that, right? You own it. You can do what you want with it within reason. So this is where you're deciding to help someone out in exchange for a fair trade. Now, again, I say fair really strictly there. Like, the price can't be crazy. But this is where if the tenant just decides to not pay and fuck you over, and that's your main source of income, which again, we're not questioning if that's right or wrong, that is just what it is, then as the apartment owner, or as the property owner, you're pretty much fucked. You're at the mercy of the tenant. And, it's very unequal in some aspects, especially depending on the state, and especially in New York. In New York, the tenants have a lot of fucking power against the landlords. But, it's just so unequal. It's unequal on one, it's unequal on the other. It depends where you go and how you look at it. But man, this shit just sucks. I feel like they should just get rid of, houses costing stuff. Because we have the space. It's not like we're fighting over the space. We have enough homes. It's just the rich fuckheads like fucking Blackstone or BlackRock or whatever, are just hoarding them to drive up the prices to make more money, which is stupid. But anyway, nice video. Real estate is pretty evil, but I do feel for the landlords in a way if they're fair. If they're fair, they can also get fucked too. It's not a one side only fucks the other, like the rich and the poor. No matter what the poor do, I don't think they could really fuck the rich, but the landlords can definitely get fucked over, and not all of them are rich, believe it or not. So anyway, nice video. Let's go next.
The Unity situation just keeps getting worse.
Okay, so I don't know if he's going to explain the Unity situation. I hope he does. And this is a pretty old thing, and I'll spoil the surprise here. They did roll back on it because it was taken so terribly. But the question is, how the fuck did this come about in the first place? But for those of you who don't know, Unity is a video game engine, and they kind of did something really stupid. But yeah, let's see.
There is potential that game developers will now be charged 20 cents every time a pirated copy of their game is installed. It has also come out that the CEO of Unity, who suspiciously sold a bunch of shares right before this news dropped, was previously the CEO of EA right before FIFA first started doing loot boxes back in 2008. And apparently in an EA stockholder meeting, he entertained the idea of charging $1 to reload an ammo clip in Battlefield. In case you missed it, in an absolutely baffling move, the Unity game engine announced that they'll be charging developers 20 cents for every install that their games get. But Unity just doesn't seem to understand that there are a lot of developers out there who just make their games for fun and then go on and release it for free. And the CEO even admitted as much, saying that anyone who doesn't make a game for the purpose of monetization is an idiot. Tons of developers are now coming together and voicing that these new changes would literally cost them more money than their game has ever even made in the first place. And now a lot of studios that make free or educational games for children will get destroyed by this new policy. Now in 2024, if you woke up to millions of downloads and your game becoming an overnight success, you could find yourself in tons of debt. And while Unity says that they will work to not count pirated installs as charges against developers...
Yeah, they'll work for it, right? They'll work towards it. They're not going to have it ready by the time it needs to be. No, they're going to get to it when they get to it.
They have historically been terrible at telling the difference between pirated and genuine installs. And although they say that they will work with developers on fraud cases, they are known to be incredibly slow at replying to support tickets. Looks like the Unreal Engine might become king now. And from my own experience making Mortal Right...
Unreal is actually really good too.
It's definitely a great game engine to use. The Unity...
So, yeah, he pretty much described the Unity situation. This is where, again, that picture of Mr. Incredible was so accurate. In 2024, obviously, like I said before, we're not in caveman, medieval, Viking times where people are pillaging and killing each other, even though that's still happening a little bit. You know, things are better, but it's like, bro, people are just so much greedier now. Like, they're greedier in a different way. Back in the day, if you were greedy, the max you'd be is Attila the Hun, right? You'd go around pillaging, you know, fucking, doing whatever you want. But not to the extent you are today. Attila the Hun cannot get the same amount of wealth we have today from being greedy. It's not possible. So this is where every fucking aspect of life has basically become commodified, and it's been corrupted by the fucking shitty-ass businessmen, and it's in games too, and it's been in games for a while, and it depresses me. This can't be the dark dimension unless everything's fucking corrupted, and of course games is on that list, and it makes me upset. But it is what it is. Let's go next. Great video.
Putin called Elon Musk an outstanding person yesterday.
Whoa,
and this coming after allegations that he blocked Ukraine from taking out Russia's navy due to his own ego. The British reporters also hounding Musk yesterday, asking him repeatedly, has your ego and ignorance cost Ukrainian lives? With Musk not responding. And this, as the Washington Post recently pointed out, that the government could just nationalize Starlink if Musk's antics continue. But the press is the least of Musk's worries right now, as SpaceX is growing under increasing scrutiny. Not just from the public, but from the U.S. military as well. With the Air Force Secretary saying, if we're going to rely upon commercial architectures or commercial systems for operational use, then we have to have some assurances that they're going to be available. And this is SpaceX is currently contracted to create a rocket that can deliver supplies to a conflict zone, but now the Air Force may be second-guessing the contract. With some asking, if Musk will do this to people who need help the most, what's stopping him from doing it to America? And you had a U.S. general saying American industry has to be clear-eyed on the full spectrum of what their products could be used for. And on top of all that, the U.S. awarded Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman a $1.5 billion contract to create a competing satellite internet network. So follow to stay in the loop. Putin...
So this is where, you know, this has to do with Elon Musk, the richest guy in the fucking world. This is where a lot of people, and I was a part of this, I'm not going to lie, really liked Elon. We thought he was cool, he was one of us, he was hip. This guy's like, what, over 50 fucking years old? How old is Elon Musk? How old is Elon Musk? He's 52. Like, bro, this guy's an old fucking man. He's not one of us. He's a little cringe, right? And he obviously has mental stuff. as he's admitted on Saturday Night Live of all things, you know, he's definitely not normal. He's really smart too. I'm not gonna say he's not smart. You know, whether he's actually smart intelligence wise or smart, you know, business wise, those are two different things. But you know, a lot of stuff has come out now to where I just consider this guy a man child. And like, I don't know how he's doing what he's doing, but he's getting away with it. And this is where like this guy's obviously volatile, and yes, he is smart. Again, business wise, maybe, sure. I don't know if intelligence wise, obviously intelligence wise, he is pretty smart too. But you know, he's not God. A lot of people take him as God, especially younger audiences. This guy has his own fair share of evil. If you're rich, especially that rich, you're definitely fucking evil in some way, shape, or form. And Elon Musk is no different. But yeah, no. This is where I think for sure the government should crack down on Elon. But Elon could probably buy them 10 times over. Actually, no, he can't, because we have more debt than he has money. So never mind. He can't do anything to us. You know, I don't like Elon Musk anymore. He's really cringe. But yeah. So Elon Musk is fucking with stuff as always. Let's go next. Oh, we got a little slideshow here. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is a little loud. Let me lower this. So this is obviously about our good friend at Activision Blizzard, another video game one, called Bobby. So let's see this. And this is from Dan Price too. Holy shit. So Activision, okay, that's too loud. I'm just gonna take it off. Activision Blizzard laid off 190 people. Over 1,000 have been laid off in the last 2 years. The CEO just got 200 million, a bonus on top of his annual pay of 30 million, as if the 30 wasn't enough. And look at Bobby, so happy, dude. Dude, this is where like you see interviews of him, right, saying, "Oh, our employees are our number one focus. We love our employees, this, and that." Yeah, he loves them so much, he's sending them out to fend for themselves. That's how much he loves them. It's like Spartan love. That's what they did in Sparta. So yeah, no, this guy like is such a shill. And again, a lot of rich people, a lot of CEOs are like this. There's some exceptions. One of the biggest exceptions is Baldur's Gate 3. The people who made that game made it out of a labor of fucking love. And look at all the other soulless husks, you know, yelling at them and saying, "Oh, don't expect this, that's a one-time thing. We can't hold ourselves to this standard." You don't want to, because it's gonna be hard and it's not gonna make you as much money, you fuckers. But you know, Bobby is really evil. Look at this guy's face. He's evil. He's like, "Yeah, look at me. I just laid off people and got 200 million." Like, bruh, look at this fucker, you know? And if nothing else, you know, I do respect Bobby because he turned Blizzard around. He turned Activision Blizzard around and he got that fucking money. Now, granted, we can also scrutinize how he did it. He did it through, you know, probably very malicious and morally questionable methods, especially exploitative methods towards his employees. But, you know, at the end of the day, he did turn the company around. So employees at Blizzard, Maker of World of Warcraft, and Overwatch were reportedly paid so little they were forced to skip meals to pay rent, while the CEO made 40 million. That kind of sounds like me, because that's what I do. I don't buy lunch, and I don't eat breakfast because I can't afford stuff. But anyway, yeah, dude, Bobby's paid so much money, it's insane. You know what they call the Battle Royale at Activision? A Royale with cheats. Ooh! And then Blizzard. What inspired you to side against basic human rights? Money. That's every time what they do. Excuse me. So here's one with Overwatch too, actually. Yesterday I mentioned the reasoning that Blizzard publicly made, explaining why the PvE mode was cancelled for Overwatch 2. According to an anonymous source provided by Sir Swag, that's only half the story. According to the source, Blizzard, the decision was 1,000% an upward management executive issue. The big suits at Activision saw the money being raked in with Diablo Immortal, the mobile game, making $2 million a day, which is crazy but true, because these mobile games make stupid money, especially the gacha games. Then they decided they want the free-to-play model for Overwatch 2 was enough to make them enough money in the long term. So they're actively kneecapping the game. And the higher-ups are doing this. The higher-ups are actively kneecapping the game because they're trying to min-max everything. And I always said this before too. This is where if something is a loss, you should still provide it to the community to foster goodwill, and because it's the right thing to do. There's things that are done, and then there's things that ought to be done. And I'll take a great example with Riot Games. Riot Games makes League of Legends, right? You might have heard of it. I stream it usually every day, or try to every day, at twitch.tv/Tecnics channel. But Riot makes League of Legends. League of Legends makes them beyond the money they need, and plus there are other games too. This is where they have a card game called Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra is very, very fair to players. It's not like other card games where it's pay to win, it's fair. But because of that, the game actually doesn't turn a profit. This is where Riot has to restructure and they have to work on it to have it be profitable, which hopefully means it's staying fair, but who knows, right? So at this point, what they should do, and this is where I have experience with this in the real world with my jobs, is they should just take the hit, because the hit realistically isn't a lot to them and they're making so much money anyway. They should not care about everything being maximum profit. They should just have it there, updated as normal, as a labor of love to the community, saying thank you. We're doing this for you guys. Sure, it could generate some profit. It's going to be a loss, but it's for you guys, so it's fine. That's what they should do, and that's definitely not what they do. Ugh, excuse me. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's see what else there is. I wonder how many of these there are. I'm not reading this shit. Oh, actually, no, that I should read this shit. So Activision. 2018 was a record year for making money. Bobby Kotick makes more than $10 million for doing management, while almost 800 employees gets fired. Maximized profit even more, and appeal to the investors and cost of the jobs of hundreds of workers. This is where the rich are literally like, they can keep it afloat at the cost of people. And then look at Nintendo. If we reduce the number of employees for better short-term results, employer morale will decrease. I sincerely doubt employees who fear that they may be laid off will be able to develop software titles that could impress people around the world. And that's, I believe, from Satoru Iwata. This is where Nintendo, for all the bad shit they do and all the backward stuff they do, because now we're getting into the gaming realm, which has been touched by the Dark Dimension, this is where Nintendo does some things right, and they actually respect their fucking employees. At least I hope so, even though they're probably overworked because the culture over there in Japan is god-awful disgusting. But anyway, this is where I would say it's completely correct, you know? An employee who fears that they'll be laid off, or even better yet, you know, they won't be laid off, but they fear that even while working, they can't make enough to actually live. Of course, they're not going to produce the best work. And this shows in the gaming industry nowadays, where a lot of the games coming out are shit and ass, and the things that people are hyped for are remakes and remasters, because those things were made at a time where things were actually put with the passion of love in them. Nowadays, it's okay, how much do we have to do to get maximum profit? And then if we put more effort in, yeah, the game's going to get better, but it's not going to return us as much profit. We should just make another semi-mediocre game. It's all about the numbers and it's all about the money, and it's barely about anything else for them. And it's stupid. Let's go next. So, Activision Blizzard pays their CEO, Bobby Kotick, 60 times more than Mr. Shuntaro Furukawa. And then, so as we see in the comment here, this is a perfect example of how Nintendo is able to allocate its resources appropriately. Rather than the CEO being paid an extra $152 million, the money can go towards what Nintendo has become known for, which is great games. Not great, you know, allowing that on the internet because they're a little backward, but they do make great games. Nintendo makes great fucking games. So, that's pretty good. Nintendo W, rare Nintendo W. And then this is obviously the whole scandal with the guy writing the joke about greedy people in Blizzard, and he got fired for it. Ironic, huh? And we'll go over some of these, and okay, there's a lot more than I thought, and boom, he's burning them. Very cool. All right, cool. So in the interest of time, we're going to skip those last ones and go next.
Unemployment needs to be higher because workers...
Oh, look, we just saw this guy. Look at this guy. Woo.
Too arrogant and need to be put in their place.
Yes,
that is literally what was argued during a summit by millionaire Australian property developer Tim Gurner, who imagine just like woke up one day and was like, I already kind of look like one. Let's just fully lean into being an actual real life supervillain.
We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer.
Who is he talking to? Other business leaders?
There's been a systematic change where...
And you know what the sad part is? This is the same thing I sort of say about government. It's not as strict, but in some ways it is. Where it's like, okay, if you're a new business leader, you're going to look at the people who are successful, you're going to copy them. In a sense, you're going to become indoctrinated, and I don't want to say manipulated, but definitely you're going to get ideas put in your head, right? About, oh, this is the way to do it. This is the way these guys are preaching it. They're the top of their craft. I should listen to them. This is where it's sort of, in a way, out of people's control because they get certain ideas and people are, you know, as I learned in media, easily influenced. So business owners, they're kind of just following the path that was set on them already by these evil fuckheads. So, you know, that's kind of sad. But let me see what else.
Employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them.
which they are,
as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude.
Oh yeah, we gotta really beat down the working class and make it so they won't ever fight back and think they're valuable.
Hurting the economy.
Yeah, how dare workers think, even for a second, that they provide any value to their employers? Everyone knows that people are inherently worthless if they aren't working and contributing to the economy.
Capitalism.
Especially the economy of my wallet. So really, they should be thanking the corporate overlords, because without them, people wouldn't have any value. Yeah, we need more pain and fear to put people back in their places. Yeah, I guess just another unfortunate daily reminder that just because you have a lot of money, it doesn't buy you class or decency or even save you from being a fucking moron.
But yeah, like, he's probably talking to other business owners, and, you know, they're probably up and coming, and he's obviously a multi-millionaire, so, but the question is, how do you become a multi-millionaire? You be a fucking asshole. So yeah, a little reminder about this guy, just in case we forgot.
This Vice News situation is so disappointing and disgusting. If you have
unemployment,
this Vice News situation is so disappointing and disgusting. If you happen to be paying attention to Vice News' YouTube channel back in June, you may have caught a 9-minute documentary video they put out about Mohammed Bonesaw. It was titled "Inside Saudi Crown Prince's Ruthless Quest for Power." But then, 4 days later, it magically disappeared, being set to private after being viewed more than 750,000 times. So that was kind of weird, but, you know, they're going through a lot of stuff. Maybe someone, you know, they clicked the wrong button. Except, it wasn't an isolated incident. Not long before that, freelance writers did a story for Vice about how the Saudi state is helping families to harass and threaten transgender Saudis based overseas. And there, despite getting a good reception from the outlet's editors, they say it was repeatedly postponed and then canceled, with multiple sources telling The Guardian that both stories were pulled because senior Vice management feared for the safety of its staff in Saudi Arabia. But, very key thing, others instead pointed to a partnership deal that it struck back in January with the MBC Group, a Saudi state-owned media company, to establish a joint venture in the kingdom. And with that, saying that as Vice has struggled to make money in recent years, it has accepted Saudi blood money and adjusted its coverage of the country as a consequence. And the outlet's relationship with the monarchy reportedly began back in 2017, with MBS's younger brother setting up a meeting between Vice's co-founder Shane Smith and the Crown Prince. And by 2018, Vice had received millions of dollars through the Saudi Research and Media Group to produce promotional videos for the kingdom. But then, when MBS chopped up Jamal Khashoggi that same year, Vice paused all work in the kingdom. Though that apparently didn't last that long, because by the time the pandemic began, Vice was helping to organize a Saudi music festival subsidized by the Saudi government. And if you didn't know about that, it's not your fault, because for some reason it was so surprising the outlet's name was absent from the publicity materials. And this is contractors working on the event were reportedly presented with non-disclosure agreements. Then, further showing the change in the relationship, in 2021, Vice opened an office in the Saudi capital of Riyadh, where it was once banned from filming in 2018. And last year, Vice's former president of news acknowledged to staff in a conference call,
once enemies, now friends. And you know what the difference was? Vice needed money.
That the Saudi regime, quote, had committed atrocities and done all sorts of terrible things, but then added, "We have opened an office, we're staying there, we're committed to our presence in the region. If that's a step too far for you as a human being on a personal level, then okay, go with God. No one is forcing you to work here." But all of that brings us to this year's partnership deal and the stories getting shelved. Also, in response to those stories getting shelved, the Vice Union put out a statement last month saying, "We are horrified, but not shocked," adding, "We know the company is financially bankrupt, but it shouldn't be morally bankrupt too." Yet, after the outlet's bankruptcy
I mean, at this point, what is Vice supposed to do? Right? They're obviously not surviving. They're not doing business, right? So now they're going to become shills to keep going. But at that point, what are they even going for? They're going to make money. And to make money, you have to listen to the overlord that's funding you. And if you don't want to do that, if you want to do what you were doing before, well, it obviously wasn't working out. So you got to do something else. You got to go work at McFucking-Donald's, which, you know, I feel bad for. But, you know, it's a choice. It honestly is a choice. And obviously the choices you were making with Vice before it was funded by the Saudis wasn't good enough, and it was dying. So what are they going to do? If they want to live, this is what they have to do if they want to keep going as Vice.
Back in May and its acquisition by new investors in July, it only appears to be expanding its presence in Saudi Arabia with numerous job listings for its Riyadh office. And all of this is part of a reported larger strategy shift away from news and toward lifestyle and entertainment content.
Nice, nice. So it's not Vice News, it's Vice Entertainment. Yeah, good luck with that, Vice. So yeah, look, another entity being corrupted. Sucks to suck. Let's go next.
Everyone should have a right to food, shelter, education, and healthcare.
Whoa, we just talked a little bit about that.
The 40-hour work week was created by industrialization and car
Yes, it
factories
was.
and is totally obsolete in regards to the modern workplace.
That's true. That's true.
Gerrymandering has done significant damage to local and state legislation.
Yes. Yep.
Ooh, we need more funding to IRS Chan so we can tax the rich.
Yeah, we do.
Cities should be totally walkable or have ample public transportation.
Yep.
The climate crisis has reached its tipping point, and more should be done to
it's
treat it
past
as an
that.
emergency.
It's past that. So anyway, I want to just apologize for putting that forward, but sadly enough, It's very accurate. You know, all these things that this lovely woman said was very accurate, very true. And I think the method of delivery, while I didn't personally like it too much, it made me physically cringe a little bit. I still think it does its job, and it gets you interested. It's like, whoa, what is this? It's a different way of showing it, and that matters. It definitely matters. Anyway, very nice, very cool, very short, very succinct, very accurate, lovely. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I had to show that, but it is different. I had to, but I'm sorry that I had to. Oh, okay, that's really loud. Jesus Christ. So this is just more of the Unity nonsense, right? So these are the tweets on the Unity situation, so we can see the community's reaction, right? And like I said, I spoiled the surprise already. I don't know if I sent it to myself, but Unity eventually walked back this really stupid decision. But just because they walked it back doesn't mean they're out of the woods yet, because the fact that the management would possibly even do something like that, people are going to lose trust, and they have lost trust in Unity to where a lot less people in the future are going to use Unity, and Unity is going to definitely feel it. Like, that was a big oopsie daisy that they did, and it wasn't even an oopsie daisy, they meant to do it. They didn't think it would be that bad, and it was. But anyway, so yeah, we could see people, excuse me, making memes about it, and I thought, to not have this be fully depressing, way back in the day whenever I sent this to myself, let's see some nice little memes. You wouldn't install a Unity game. And these are from game developers, by the way. Starting tomorrow, you can only send one Discord message per day. Hilarious. Thank you for being better than Unity. Doesn't seem that hard these days. Damn, everyone's shitting on them. Someone has edited the Wikipedia entry for greed to describe Unity's CEO as one of the greediest people alive, which is true. I mean, this guy worked on fucking EA, so, he has a track record. So, so here's Unity. We want to acknowledge the confusion and frustration we heard after announced our new policy. We'd like to clarify some of the things. So this isn't even them walking it back. They just doubled down on it and said, like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Which is stupid, because it made it worse. Today we announced a change to our Yo, look, the fucking tweets are just so funny. Jeff saying this is kind of like signaling that the Emperor has lost the mandate of heaven. So this is Jeff Keighley. This is the guy who does the Game Awards, bruh. Like, the fact that Jeff is saying it, like, you guys are done. Unity's done. Again, this is a little old news, but it's still really funny. I love that there's a stream of updates from third parties that are like, oh, I talked to you and they clarified that. 1, the bad thing is even worse. 2, the less bad thing is the same amount of bad. And 3, there's a new secret third bad thing that's the worst thing you've ever heard of. It's so good. It's so good. And look at this. Look at this. This is from Slay the Spire, right? We have never made a public statement before. That is how badly you fucked up, dude. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. It's so good. It's so good. Slay the Spire really hit them too. And by the way, amazing game. Slay the Spire is an amazing game. Excuse me. See, and they said, like, oh, and this is what a lot of gaming companies are going to do. This is where finally the people's voices have a say, right? At the end of the day, the government and the businesses can do whatever they want, but if the community, if the people, the consumer come together in this much solidarity, it doesn't matter. They're fucked. Like, they are fucked. This is where possibly this is what happened with the writers and actors guild with Adam Conover. If they actually came together like this, then of course they can make a splash. Like, it's insane. Solidarity. That's what we need. But we're more connected than ever, but the most isolated we've ever been. It's fucking wild. Next.
France have just made an astonishing move banning this iPhone model due to radiation concerns. And now a number of other European countries are looking to do the same.
So on a little side note here, I've been noticing Europe is banning a lot of stuff that is allowed in the US. So this leads me to question a couple things. Number 1. Why is the US not banning them? Either they're getting lobbied, or they don't think it's bad, or Europe is wrong. Who knows? Excuse me. Who really knows? But number 2, everything gives you fucking something bad nowadays. It's like the people who create it really don't give a fuck about, again, literally aside from making money. If it gives you cancer, oh, it's fine, because you're going to pay for it before you know that.
The country's radiation watchdog has now banned the sales of the iPhone 12. Their tests showed that the smartphone exceeded European radiation exposure limits by 40%. And what's worse is that according to a report by Bloomberg, Apple allegedly advised their tech support team to not provide any information when asked about radiation risks. In fact, French regulators are so serious about this risk that they say if Apple cannot resolve this issue with a promised software update, they will order a recall of all...
How the fuck are they going to solve radiation with a software update unless they limit the phone's output, which they actually know what they could do that through software. So wow,
all devices across France, which would cost the company a massive sum. Now all of this is
not enough. For those of you who don't know, Apple is the most profitable company in the world. They're over $1 trillion in worth. You know, let's actually prove that. Let me back it up. Even though I know I'm right, let me back it up. Top stocks, not to buy now. Fucking Google autocorrect, you piece of shit. Top stocks, ready? Okay, oh my god, fuck. Okay, top stock capitalization. Ready? So this is how much there is. And look what's at the top. Apple, ready? Market cap is, again, how much money they have. Market capitalization. Apple, Microsoft, and then Saudi, you know, I think that's gas. And then Google, Amazon, you know, all the names we really know. But of course, the number one, Apple. But I will give it to Microsoft. They actually are catching up, which is crazy. And look, all the profitable companies, where are they at? US fucking A, baby. Richest country in the world, worst fucking financial crisis, and worst disparity of wealth between rich and poor ever. But yeah. Apple, richest company in the fucking world. Wait. How much did they have? Oh, they passed 2 trillion. Oh, not only did they have 1 trillion, they went to 2, and they're almost at 3. Are you shitting me? Are you actually shitting me, bro? What the fuck? They're so rich. Like, dude, them recalling the iPhones, it's going to not make, like... It'll make a drop in the bucket at most.
But concern with other European countries, as Germany and Belgium are set to review the findings themselves, while other countries like Spain and Italy say that they'll be monitoring the situation. France have just...
Dude, Apple's so rich. But yeah, Europe is cracking down, and I think it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to this topic too. But yeah, you know, again, another thing I thought was crazy, right? Those people who would wear shungite and like put tinfoil on their head saying, oh, the phones are giving us radiation, they're not wrong. Unless this comes out to be wrong, unless this information comes out to be wrong. Also, Jesus Christ, look at Dylan's face here. Jesus Lord. That's giving me radiation. So unless they're proven to be wrong, like, this is fucking crazy. Again, a lot of stuff that we hear is probably bullshit, but some of the stuff that we think is bullshit turns out to be true. It's fucking scary, yo. What am I gonna find out next? That the boogeyman's real? It's John Wick? Wild stuff. Let's go next.
Why have people looked the
What the fuck was that? Oh, I guess that video got deleted. But anyway, let's watch this nice long 6-minute video.
People looked the same for the last 20 years.
I don't know.
No, but this is a question people should be asking. Not just how people look. Let's expand.
This guy looks like a old hipster.
The question a little bit. Why is it the case that in 20 years very little has changed in the material relationships of anyone's life watching this TikTok?
That's a
Why
great
has there
question.
been a nearly non-stop recreation of nostalgic old tropes in Hollywood?
And in the gaming industry, like I said, the most stuff that gets hyped up is a lot of the remakes, a lot of the old stuff that's nostalgic and was actually good. It's because now everything that's produced is soulless, for money mainly, and is shit.
Just everything is a remake of a remake of a reboot of a reboot of something that was made 40, 50 years ago. Why does music sound the same as NSYNC's Dirty Pop from the late 90s? Finally, deeper, aside from the superficial elements of storytelling and diversity in casting and things like that, why have stories effectively been exactly the same?
Yeah, so aside from them changing like the Little Mermaid and stuff from like white to black, which is a big change, everything else is pretty much the same. Why is nothing changing? Please enlighten me.
As they were 20 to 30 years ago. The narratives, the subject matters, the themes have not changed. Why could that be the case?
Why?
In order to try to find an answer, let's listen to this guy, Mark Fisher.
Whoa.
Fisher's most famous for his book, Capitalist Realism.
Whoa.
And what capitalist realism basically means in a nutshell is that capitalism is the only thing you can imagine. You cannot imagine existing in a system outside of it.
No
in this world today, not just in New York, but all over the world, we all basically live in that system, especially Hollywood, especially places that make art. But wait a minute, Brendan. I thought that art was basically supposed to challenge things like power structures. Yeah, maybe on the level of the superficial, but actually most art produced today, whether it's music or architecture or movies or TV shows or fashion, doesn't try to challenge any of the deeper material relations that capitalism has us trapped within.
That is somewhat
It's just trying to make money.
Yep,
Don't take my word for it. Mark Fisher wrote an amazing paper called The Slow Cancellation of the Future, in which he took ideas from the postmodern theorist Frederick...
This is where, like, he's 100% right here, because it's the same thing that happened in games, too, like I've said.
Jameson about the cultural logic of late capitalism. What Frederick Jameson basically argues is that capital has circumscribed the entire world that we live in. Everything that we do...
Yeah, money defines you, and this is what they were saying before, too. And not this guy, but one of the previous videos, where it's like, oh, work defines you. If you're not working, you're not, you're not worth anything. You're worthless.
It used to be the case that it was centered on some other ideal. It could be God, it could be human beings, it could be loving relationships. But actually now, it's capital. It's the center of our world. It's the center of art creation. I mean, think about it. How many SoundCloud rappers do you know who basically actually care about music?
They don't.
So I'll take it even a step further. French theorist Marc Auger calls this supermodernity, or basically non-spaces. He's famous for coining the term liminal spaces.
Ooh.
So what Marc basically says is that whereas the world...
You know what's crazy? I also was introduced to that into my media.
Used to be
my media major.
Human-centered, that people built spaces and built things for ourselves.
Yeah, people built games because they liked the games. Now people build games not because they like games or they even have anything to do with games. They're not even gamers. They build games because they know they can make money.
It's now capital-centered, which means that a lot of the spaces that we physically live our lives
Yo,
in...
this could be another title. Hold on. Let me write this as a potential title. Capital-centered. I misspelled that so terribly. Anyway. Did I click that shit, by the way? I did. Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Actually built for us. They're actually built to help us facilitate capital.
Yeah, again, going back to BlackRock, Blackstone. Why are they building real estate? Right? Why are they buying up real estate? Oh, to give it to people at affordable prices? No, you fucking dunderhead nincompoop. To make more profit off of it. Not for the people, for themselves. And the shareholders, of which I am one.
Think of superhighways, airport terminals, tarmacs, things like this. People aren't meant to occupy those spaces. They're only meant to be there incidentally in order to help the communication of capital. You gotta drive to work, you gotta take a plane to another place, this kind of thing. But that's not just physical places. That's not just physical spaces. That's also art. That's also music. That's also movies.
No way.
And that's also fashion.
My
Some
God.
music has to play in the background of a Walgreens.
Not my Gucci brick. No.
Netflix has to give something to subscribers to watch, and you have to wear something during the day.
Yes.
Okay, Brendan, we're 3 minutes into this video and you still haven't answered why it hasn't changed in almost 30 years. Fashion and art haven't changed in almost 30 years because since Bill Clinton became president in the early 90s,
Is he really making this about Bill Clinton? Let me not interrupt him, but yeah, this is crazy if it's about Bill fucking Clinton, bruh.
Basically been trapped in the same exact neoliberal late capital system
the
whole time. The power structures that enable that system to continue functioning and have us trapped within it effectively haven't changed.
Yep.
They've been in power the entire time.
They're only getting better at maintaining it.
Studios, and heads of fashion, and even musicians have basically been popular and on top of the industries they've been in since the 90s.
Yep.
Now
this is where, and you can definitely see this in the voice acting industry, this is where they just keep taking the same people. If you look at the voice actors that voice act everything, it's the same bunch of people. It's crazy. Not saying they're not talented, but like they're dominating the industry. It's becoming a monopoly.
Here's the part where I'm going to take you out to outer space. Ready? Think about the history of fashion. You can basically tell in a movie that you're watching when something is placed by what someone is wearing.
That is true. You could tell an 80s movie from a 90s movie.
Maybe
or a 70s movie.
The century that someone is in, but you can't exactly tell the decade. And it gets harder the further you go back. If you go back to the Roman Empire, is it early or late Roman Empire? They basically wore very similar things during that period of time. I'm not a historian of fashion. I'm open to being wrong about this, but I think I'm right. Now think about the 1950s through the 1990s. That's a 4-decade period of time. A lot in fashion changed during that period of time.
Yep.
A lot in music, a lot
Disco,
in movies, a lot in
disco.
all kinds of art. Even architecture changed since the 1950s to the 1990s. Really, that period of time, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, into the 90s, lots of transformational time during that period.
Yep, but
it
now
was
what
also
has
a
become?
tumultuous period of time. The 20th.
But I will admit this, fashion is somewhat changing now in the last 5-10 years more than it has, like, between, like, the 1990s and 2010s, I would say. But it's not changing that much. This is where people are just getting crazy, I think. It's not even, like, fashion trends. It's just there's so many different little fashion outcroppings, fashion, like, styles that are popping up that aren't mainstream, but they have so many little, like, groups and sects now. I mean, like, sex, like, SECTS, not, like, sex as an intercourse, if anyone got confused by that.
Century for the entire world and for us culturally. So of course it changed a lot. Of course art changed a lot. But why was it changing? It was changing because the power relationships between capital and the rest of culture was re-solidifying. And what basically happened was that capital won and it became the center, the focus.
Oh, no.
Again, I could be wrong, but the history of macroeconomics during this period of time is basically a series of different consolidations of businesses into larger and larger financial institutions.
Whoa.
So what we really should be asking is not why things haven't changed over the last 20 to 30 years, but why did they change so much in the time before that, in the 20th century. The reason that fashion and art did not change so much historically, more on the era of centuries or of even hundreds of years than they did in the last 100 years in the 20th century, where they changed decade by decade, is because the power relationships between society, between culture, and the people at the head didn't change either.
Whoa.
European monarchies lasted hundreds of years. The Roman Empire lasted 1,000 years.
My God.
So things haven't changed, just like Mark Fisher said in The Slow Cancellation of the Future, because the power relationships haven't changed in 20 to 30 years. And they're not going to change in the future.
Yep, and they're seeing to that because they're consolidating the power.
Because the power relationships that have been established now intend to be, like the Roman Empire, here for another 1,000 years.
God damn it. No! No! The dark times are coming! The dark ages! Version 2. But yeah, no, I agree with most of what he said. Not everything, but most of the things, yes. So this is pretty insightful. And you could tell this guy didn't have all the answers. He wasn't necessarily maybe an expert, as he said he was an expert on some things. Which, you know, is good. This is where he's sharing his opinion. A lot of people will come on the internet, as long as you could be confident enough or bullshit your facts enough, people will believe you for everything and they'll think of you as an expert. This guy obviously is an expert with everything, and he's upfront about it, and I like that. And again, while I don't agree fully with him, he said some very good points. Let's go next.
So capitalists are now just openly admitting that they need to hurt the economy in order for capitalism to work.
Wow.
You don't believe me? Check this out.
We need to see unemployment rise.
Oh my God, this guy again, bruh.
We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind
people. How many times did I send this guy to myself? Fuck this asswipe.
That was real estate tycoon Tim Gurner.
Every time I see him, I get upset.
He wants to increase unemployment and cause pain in the economy.
Listen, he wants to increase unemployment and cause pain in the economy because he's sad that his workers are actually gaining sentience and fighting for their rights. So he wants to beat them down and make them obedient again. That's why he's trying to raise unemployment and stuff, to make people desperate to where they have to listen to you because they have no other choice, which is evil and fucked up.
But if capitalism is the best economic system we can possibly utilize, then why would the people calling the shots at the top of that system want to purposely hurt the economy and drive up unemployment?
Who knows?
There's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them.
Whoa, really?
So
no way.
It's a dynamic that has to change.
It has to change. Why does it have to change?
Hurting the economy.
Why can't we feel like we're valued?
You know, the world.
This is so evil, dude. This guy is so evil, bruh. He's just all about the fucking guapo.
To some sort of normality.
Which I don't blame him in a certain sense, but it's still evil.
Massive layoffs going off.
Yo, man, you gotta get that bag.
People are definitely
He's getting like 10 bags, not just one.
Employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade.
Okay, we're not going to hear this whole fucking speech. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Because the only incentive they actually have is to increase their own profits. And since labor is only seen as an expense to them, they want to do everything in their power to weaken the working class so they can extract as much profit from the value generated by their labor.
Oh my God, the comments.
I mean, just listen to the disdain he has for the entire concept.
Yeah, this guy just hates people that are not rich thinking they have options.
Having
This guy probably like he'd be a good fucking CEO for Amazon.
Quality with the people that he employs. I hear conservatives argue all the time about how the exchange of labor under capitalism is voluntary and therefore just.
Voluntary my ass. If we don't do it, we fucking starve and we die. Of course, you know, U.S. isn't going to count us from starvation, but that's one of the causes.
But how can that be when the capitalist ruling class is openly saying that they want to ruin the lives of their employees in order to remind them that they're lucky to be employed, not the other way around?
And you know what the sad part is? I feel like this way where it's like, my job should feel grateful to have me because I do so much above and beyond and get paid so little, and I'm not over exaggerating. That's actually what happens in my job situation. But my job treats me like such shit, and they're like, "Oh, you're lucky to have this job. You're lucky to work with us." So like, you know, you should. Well, obviously not. They didn't tell me this, but it's basically the culture of like, "Oh, you should be like content that we even gave you this opportunity. You work for us, even though we underpay you and overwork you for stuff that's not your job." It's disgusting.
If labor under capitalism was truly the even and voluntary exchange that its defenders say it is, then why do employers think that they shouldn't have to feel lucky to have their employees?
Ooh.
If this is an exchange of equal value, then why shouldn't both sides be equally happy with it? Why?
Because that doesn't happen in fucking La La Land. Like, what? This is a fantasy. Like, okay, you guys are gonna get like half, so you both have to be happy. No, you can't control how happy I am with getting half. Obviously, some people don't want it to be fair. Now, granted, those people are fucked up at the end of the day. You know, you can't change what you want.
Why do capitalists need their workers to fear unemployment so badly that they are willing to use the government to harm the entire economy in order to avoid treating their employees like they actually need them?
Because then you can pay them less money and make more for yourself. That's why.
2. If you're a member of the working class and you want to know why capitalism is bad for you, you don't have to bother reading Marx. Just listen to...
Ooh, I can't believe he said the M word. M name.
To an ultra-wealthy capitalist talk about labor relations for a few minutes, and they will explain it to you clear as day.
So yeah, this guy was pretty upset. He's kind of like me, except he actually makes his own content. I just react to it. So, pretty good. Pretty good. The comments of this thing are the best, though. I think Gerner is extremely lucky to still be alive. I'm starting to feel really French lately. Like, it's crazy. He literally said we need to put the poors back in their place. Yeah, we need to remind them they're poor and they should have like shitty lives and just work for us.
Joe Biden said this during his 9/11 speech a couple days ago.
Okay, this was hilarious. Now, mind you, in my job, I work with 9/11 victims and stuff, right? This is where, when I saw this, I thought it was made by AI. I thought this was fake. This was hilarious. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of bad stuff that comes with this, but let's see what it is first.
Ground Zero in New York. And I remember standing there the next day and looking at the building. I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell.
Whoa.
It looked so devastating because from where you could stand.
The problem is he wasn't there on 9/12. Watch the White House try to do cleanup.
John, in the past couple of weeks, the president has lied about being at Ground Zero the day after the September 11th attacks, falsely claiming
he's like, "Oh, come on." Yeah, you can see it in his face. He's like, "Oh, why'd you have to ask me that? You know he's old. You know he doesn't know what's going on."
Claimed his grandfather died in the hospital days before his birth. What is going on with the president?
Like, what is that? Why is he just straight up lying? The guy fucking said, "What is going on with the president?"
Just believing things that didn't happen did happen, or is he just randomly making stuff up?
Dude, this guy has a hard job. He has to clean up this fucking old man's mess. Like, Biden is coming in, just diarrheaing everywhere with his speech, and this guy has to clean it up.
The president was deeply touched and honored to be able to spend 9/11 with military members there in Alaska and some families.
Oh my God!
Was honored by their presence and the chance to make an important step.
He doesn't even know how to fucking fix this shit. There's too much diarrhea.
The remarks about why we need to continue to remember that day, and he did that, and he spoke about.
He's not answering the question. He's doing such a good job of it.
At the Ground Zero, which he did participate in,
Yeah, just after, not the day after, but after.
About a week or so after the event, and what that looked and what that smelled and what that felt like, and it had a visceral impact on him as it did so many other Americans.
This is where it's true. This is where the actual event was so traumatic, and I know this because I actually speak with the people. This is my job, literally. Well, not literally on paper, but what they actually make me do. So, this is where, like, the event was so fucked up and so traumatizing, people can't even remember it. And they were there, and we know they were there, and they can't remember it because that's what it does to your mind. The human mind shattered. Well, some human mind shattered. Like, this is not a joke. Like, it's actually serious. Now, I don't think it's the case for fucking Joe Biden, but this is real. He's not lying with this, but he's lying if it applies to Joe Biden, for sure.
On that terrible day. And he's focused on making sure that an attack like that never happens again.
Yeah, this is insane. This is so funny. I hope right now we got to the part, because this is like a little mini arc that I sent myself, of just Joe Biden just diarrheaing everywhere. So let's see if we can find more of that. This is so good, though. And this is where other countries view us so stupidly, because this is our leader. Which, granted, the president isn't even the leader. We have checks and balances. We have a three system, right? The president, the Congress or whatever, and then the Supreme Court. They're supposed to check and balance each other, which realistically they don't, because who's viewed as the leader? The president. Is he really the leader? In some ways, yes. In most ways, no. He has to adhere to Congress, and he has to adhere to the Supreme Court as well.
Joe Biden.
So yeah, pretty good video. But yeah, oh my god, no wonder they view us so stupid. This guy's like half awake saying fucking bullshit. Like the way the reporter said it. What's going on with the president?
So hard from workers saying, I don't want to drive into the city an hour and a half and drive home an hour and a half every day.
Oh, no, but that's what I do, except I don't drive. I use the shitty ass fucking New York City unclean fucking homeless filled subway. And I don't mean to insult the homeless. I actually feel really bad for them, but they are crazy. Most of them are crazy.
I also think a nice little recession will clear this, and you'll see people come back together.
So it's not the other guy who has the same opinion. Yeah, people getting desperate and being forced to either work for us under any circumstance or die, I think that'll fix my problems. Well, no duh, your problems are fucking stupid.
I really do find it funny that the billionaires of this world are using the 2020s as the perfect time to come out and tell everyone that they really are as psychotic and evil as we've been saying this entire time.
Yep. And I'm vindicated with this shit. It's proof.
Piece of shit can sit here with a smile on his face and tell the world that the answer to getting people off of remote work and back into offices is a nice little recession. Because a recession...
Yeah, as if that doesn't affect, like, millions of people.
It doesn't affect a man who has a B in his net worth. You see, It does affect everybody else whom the tax system wasn't set up to benefit. If we need to be reminded about what happens during a recession...
People lose homes. People lose jobs. People lose retirement savings. People lose pensions. You know what I hate about fucking banking? It reduces people to numbers. Here's a number. Every 1% unemployment goes up, 40,000 people die. Did you know that?
It's 40,000, damn.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
He says it's true.
Wow.
It's actually been proven by multiple sources that for every 3 million people that go unemployed in America, 40,000 of them die. You see, the answers, they start to present themselves when you start asking yourself the question of why do they want these people to go back to work? So,
see, and I think that's an important thing to ask always, and that's what I often ask myself. Why? I think why is an extremely, extremely good tool.
Badly. Is it because of their productivity? Are they wasting company time?
Yes.
No.
I am.
Actually, studies have shown that remote workers are actually 47% more productive, and they work more during the week.
And you know what's crazy? This is where during work, right, I look at like news articles and stuff, and there was all these articles I kept seeing saying, oh, remote work is actually bad. Remote work is actually like not as productive and it's not as good as you think. And, they use all the little clickbaity titles and everything. But there was multiple articles, and I actually saved them. I'm not going to get them up now, but I actually saved a lot of the articles that said this. And they were different articles, but they all referenced one study where some of the workers were lazy. And they're like, oh, well, if the workers are lazy, those are the ones who are going to work from home and be even lazier. It's like, are you fucking serious? They're taking the one study as disproving it when there's all these other studies that prove it. It's so stupid.
That can't be it. So maybe these companies are just generally concerned about their employees.
And again, more productivity, same pay, which is actually getting eroded by inflation.
Well-beings, and don't want to...
Thank you, Federal Reserve and employers. Fucking the tag team fucking trouble combo over here. Fucking assholes.
see them become antisocial and not have any friends anymore.
Oh.
Even though there are proof now that overwhelmingly people like working from home more, that it improves upon their work-life balance to do so, and that most of people do have time to improve their relationship with friends. The employees are working more and harder from home, and they're happier to do it, so really what could be the problem? Could it be that you guys also own the buildings that they work at too? Could it be that most of you are invested in commercial properties and you're set to lose money if companies don't occupy said property? See, when you look at it that way, it's almost like you trying to get the remote workers back into the office buildings so that way you don't lose out on your investments. And you're willing to crash the economy in order to get your way. See that?
Crazy. But see, the solution to this is just have your employees work from home and then sell the space and rent a tiny small one if you need it. Like, it's so stupid. And my job, I'm not going to say exact stuff, but my job rents a space. I go to an office that they rent. That shit costs a lot of money each month. Let's just say after 2 months they make, it costs more than I make in a year.
That sounds exactly like something a billionaire would do. Eat the rich. Eat them fucking all. Have a fucking day. Start mass producing.
Okay, I don't agree with that last part, but for the most part, he's completely right. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting billionaires, man. Next. Or so we thought. So, wait. Did I send this one to myself? What is this? Oh, there's also no sound. Nice. Yeah, we've seen this one before, too. So, this is the graph where it shows, like, what people vote for and if it actually gets passed, right? How corruption is legal. So basically, the ideal versus the reality. So the ideal is what people want, what people vote for, right? What people want to be enacted, and then the reality is what they get, I believe. Or no, sorry, the support. Okay. Man, it sucks. Oh no, I have it muted. Oh no, it's not available. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna skip this one, but I believe that's the general idea behind it. Let's go next. Oh my god, that's loud as fuck. Okay, we're also sort of skipping one. Let me lower this. This is gonna blow my eardrums. Probably fucking. My god. Probably fucking copyrighted. Look at the caption. The execs partying with all the money that you made them. My god. So yeah, this was obviously a comedic one just meant to take the edge off, have people laugh a little bit. Let's go next. Oh. Wait, hold on. Okay, no, we're good. Whew. Alright. What's this? Oh. Oh, shit. What do you think this is? New York fucking City. This is from Casey Neistat, too. Dude, look at this. Look at this underneath. Now, granted, that's probably in a fucking basement for the city. But it is fucking broken and fucked up. Like, are you serious? If you stepped on that, you could have sued someone if you actually fell on that. Which, at that point, kids are gonna fall on that shit. And they're actually gonna get seriously fucking hurt. Like, look at this shit. What the hell? That has to be some basement or something. There's no way. Like, look at this. Look at this shit. Yep, New York City. Never gonna improve. Never gonna take the tax dollars and put into something we need. Good old New York. Let's go next.
He states that it's not medically necessary treatment.
Oh. So we're going to leave this one, I think, for here. We'll cut it here. And my hypothesis from before did come out true. We did go longer, and I'm still pretty coherent. I'm a little tired. It did suck me a little extra, just like work does. But not extremely tired, but I do have other stuff to do, like I said. So we're going to cap it right here. So how far did we get? We started on the 13th, and we got all the way to, with my endless amounts of talking, we got all the way to right about here with Casey Neistat. Cool. So we're gonna like that just to have it, and that'll be it. Okay, so we got to September 18th. So again, we're not anywhere near a month behind. I'll try my hardest to not send myself as much stuff, but no promises. And yeah, that'll be it. Great time, great time all around. And watch my stream, Twitch TV Tecnics channel. Hope everyone enjoyed.